Live from downtown Macon, this is WGXA News live on YouTube.
Good evening, I'm Greg Lloyd.
I'm Amanda Peralta. Thank you for watching WGXA News at 5:30. One more building has been torn down as the city of Macon and its leaders continue their fight against blight and their attempt to revitalize abandoned areas within the community.
WGXA was there for the demolition of building number 536, and we spoke to local leaders about what's next.
This isn't just a regular demolition, in my opinion. It's one that's going to greatly impact our already growing tourism.
Building 536 is in East Macon and is across the street from the Macon Centerplex and is near where the old bib mill was located. The mill burned down about a year ago, and now county leaders would like to develop the area into something that would attract visitors, including a hotel and retail spaces. They recently bought the 21 acres and are actively looking for a developer to build something there. County leaders also hope any development would continue to increase the number of visitors to the Okmulgee Mounds National Historic Park.
With this site getting developed today in a way that complements the park and supports the growing and strengthening downtown, as well as the convention center and the Coliseum across the street, we know it will bring even more people to our community.
Leaders hope to include 60-unit low-income apartments in the area. However, the application was pulled and that project has stopped for another year. The overall revitalization project is expected to cost $350 million and will be funded by the special option sales tax and through the county's general fund. There have been no set plans announced for the location at this time. Reporting in Macon, Amanda Peralta, WGXA News. And new at 5, Governor Brian Kemp announced a huge investment into public safety today. It's an investment of more than $83 million.
That's right, Amanda, and the Perry Police Department is just one of dozens of agencies that will receive the money. Carlos Stevens went to Perry today to find out how that more than $1 million will benefit the police department. And Carlos, what do they plan to do with that money?
Well, guys, I spoke to the police chief today, and he says this grant will bring some much needed upgrades to the police department. In fact, he says it will make a huge difference in deterring crime. The office of Governor Brian Kemp announced Thursday that the Perry Police Department will receive a grant for more than $1 million. The funds are part of over $83 million awarded to 118 projects statewide. Perry's Police Chief Alan Everidge says the grant will allow them to make several upgrades, including new flock cameras. Those flock cameras help law enforcement by providing objective evidence that could get criminals off the streets quicker. Those cameras are connected to a database and can alert officers to a wanted person based on the tag number of the car. Everidge took me on a ride along to show me where any new cameras may go. He was quick to point out they aren't just about helping with crime.
If you have a person who is an Alzheimer's patient who has, left and become confused, and that car's been entered, that person's been entered into the system, it will flag our officers and let them know.
Another big upgrade for the Perry Police Department will include Fuchsia's cameras. These cameras allow law enforcement to monitor multiple video feeds from public and privately owned sources in one place, all in real time. Everidge says people do have to register through Perry Police Department to get their cameras monitored, saying it could make all the difference in keeping a business safe.
If they give us access to them, we could actually come back and do a time lapse. So if a crime occurred in the 200 block, we could look at the cameras from the 100 block, the 200 block, the 300 block, and see a suspect flee or something like that.
Everidge says with the growing population in Houston County, extra eyes through technology will help.
So this gives us a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week presence in certain areas.
Now, Chief went on to add that they're hoping to have these upgrades done by January of 2024. For now, reporting here in Perry, I'm Carlos Stevens, WGXA News, guys.
12 agencies in Middle Georgia were awarded grants. Baldwin County will receive over $500,000. Bibb County was awarded over $1.6 million, and the city of Dublin will get over $1.5 million. You can check out all of the agencies that will benefit and what their plans are for the money on our website, WGXA.tv.
Macon's violence prevention plan continues. Wednesday morning, dozens of organizations and churches received hundreds of thousands of dollars to fund change in the community. For a second year, the Macon Violence Prevention Program shelled out over $186,000 in another round of grants to 31 local organizations in the hopes of changing the stats. First-time recipient Julie Gross from Appleton Episcopal Ministries says when she got the news of a $15,000 check going towards the 50 kids in the Free to Read program that she couldn't contain herself.
Well, I screamed when I found out I got the grant, but this allowed us to do some extra work this summer to have a counselor on staff, to expand the number of books we gave every child, and to pay for some additional enrichments.
Gross is among 30 other recipients like Next Level Community Development who took $90,000 to fund summer programs for more than 200 at-risk kids. Leaders said they were inspired by the efforts of local organizations, that they increased this year's award total by $235,000 up from the $625,000 that was originally planned.
Brian has been telling us for days about the chance for pop-up summer storms. Well, yesterday, those storms came with some strong damage, like this home in Houston County where lightning is likely to blame for causing an attic fire, according to the Houston County Fire Chief, Chris Stoner. Crews were able to get the flames under control quickly at the Silk Tree Trace home. Several counties also reported trees down with winds at times getting up between 60 and 100 miles per hour.
All right, and you know, Amanda, that heat continues today, and we were looking for the possibility of some severe weather. Luckily, it seems that we've avoided that now, but Chief Meteorologist Ryan Stinn always watching that radar for us.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that there would be some severe weather because the lazy part of me was like, if it rains, I don't have to go to the gym. But I think I'm going to.
Looks like you're no such luck.
Yeah, you got to go to the gym today, unfortunately. But yeah, a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms, and we say it in the summertime, big heat means big storms, and where these storms develop, they can pack a wallop. We're talking gusty winds, a lot of lightning. Currently, we're seeing rain essentially in Pulaski County and up into Bleckley County, back into Sumter County, and that's about it. A few bolts of lightning mixing in, but other than that, nothing like those stronger storms we dealt with yesterday. Now, if you've been outside today across middle Georgia, you see that haziness, that milkiness in the air. Looking at our Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network, you still see it across Macon. That is that haze and smoke from those wildfires up in Canada. It has filtered towards the south as we got those northwesterly winds. Currently in Macon, it's a hot 90 degrees in Macon. 80s and 90s area wide. We're looking for heat relief in the form of those showers and storms. Unfortunately, not really materializing this evening across middle Georgia. However, we will see less humid weather as we roll into tomorrow and the weekend. 80s the rest of this evening, will fall into the 70s, and most of us will stay dry. We're dry the next couple of days, but unfortunately some of that smoke will stick around. I'll have those details coming up in Maine weather. Amanda, Greg.
Thank you so much, Ryan. It's a great time to download that WGXA weather app. Ryan is back in less than 20 minutes with your 10-day forecast.
A Macon man will spend the next 2 decades in prison for shooting at state troopers back in 2021. The Macon Judicial Circuit DA's office says 28-year-old Larry Bryant pleaded guilty Tuesday for the January 2021 incident. The court says a Georgia State Patrol trooper attempted to pull Bryant over in downtown Macon for texting and driving. Bryant led that trooper and several others on a chase that ended in the Alphabet City neighborhood. That's when Bryant fired 6 rounds that all hit a trooper's vehicle. 1 bullet even went through a trooper's sleeve. No one was hurt in the shooting. Brian was 1 year away from completing his probation for a 2014 conviction when the shooting happened.
Bibb deputies on the search for a masked armed robber who held up the AT&T store on Mercer University Drive Tuesday morning. Investigators say he stole a number of Apple phones and watches just after 10 that morning. Deputies add no one was physically harmed in that robbery. If you recognize him or know anything about the case, please call the Bibb County Sheriff's Office.
Activists aren't letting approval of the so-called Cop City project in Atlanta stop them. They want to force a vote on the issue. The city plans to move forward with building a new state-of-the-art police and firefighter training facility with a price tag of $67 million. The city council rejected protesters' pleas Tuesday to refuse funding for the facility. Now, those opposed to the center are filing a referendum petition to let voters decide. They'll need 70,000 signatures to get it on the ballot. Meanwhile, construction crews have already begun work clearing the site.
Well, the Supreme Court still has not handed down its ruling on the case of Biden versus Nebraska. It looks at whether the White House exceeded its authority in implementing a plan allowing millions of students to have their student loans forgiven.
In the meantime, Congress came after the plan in new legislation just vetoed by President Biden. Christine Frizzell brings us the ins and outs of what's to become a pretty contentious debate.
School's out for summer. College graduates looking ahead to a future that for many includes repaying tens of thousands of dollars in student debt, with an estimated 43 million borrowers owing more than $1.6 trillion in outstanding federal loans. The question of forgiving some of that debt, a contentious one, as it was back in 2020.
My daughter's getting out of school. I've saved all my money. She doesn't have any student loans. Am I going to get my money back?
Today, there remains a wide range of views, even from students themselves, as relayed to Full Measure's Scott Thuman.
When you go to college, you are effectively buying a product. Much like a new car, when you go to buy a new car, you have to sign on the dotted line.
If you think about what our government is paying for, they're paying up the wazoo for military budgets, for aid in other countries. If the government can, produce this money out of thin air, why can they not do it for us?
The White House plan would forgive up to $20,000 for students who went to college on Pell Grants and $10,000 for those without, if specific requirements are met. A bill passed in both the House and Senate blocking the plan, which President Biden vetoed this week.
Nearly 90% of those relief dollars go to people making less than $75,000 a year.
But student loan forgiveness is anything but guaranteed. The authority of the White House to issue such a plan questioned before the Supreme Court, with a ruling expected soon.
The bill is passed.
And the bipartisan debt ceiling deal included a mandate that student loan repayments paused during the pandemic restart by August 30th. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
In a surprise ruling and a big win for supporters of voting rights, the Supreme Court has ordered Alabama to redraw its voting maps. In a 5-4 majority, the high court justices decided the state's congressional maps did likely discriminate against black voters. Alabama officials must redraw the maps to allow an additional black majority district because the state is 27% black. The decision will give more opportunities for minority voters to elect the candidate of their choice. Supporters of voting rights had feared the court was going to make it harder for minorities to challenge maps under a key section of the historic Voting Rights Act that bars discrimination based on race.
And this next story might sound like it's from The Onion, but it's true. The U.S. Supreme Court is weighing in on a poop joke, siding with Jack Daniels unanimously, saying the VIP product's dog toy on the right violates the distiller's trademark. The distiller can now revive its lawsuit against the toy maker. The real bottle on the left says Jack Daniels No. 7 Tennessee Whiskey. The dog toy parodies that with the words "Bad Spaniels, the old No. 2 on your Tennessee carpet." It's not that the justices missed the joke. They just say the toy doesn't have free speech protections because commercial products have to follow trademark law. The ruling overturns an appeals court decision.
A hot and humid day across middle Georgia, but we got less humid weather in the forecast for tomorrow and Saturday. We got a front pushing through middle Georgia this evening, not really producing much in the way of showers and thunderstorms, but it will bring better air, more comfortable air for the weekend. Enjoy it because by Sunday, scattered storms will remain. And unfortunately, it looks like some of that haze due to that smoke from those Canadian wildfires will also stick around the next couple of days. And it's causing big problems. Once again, air quality alerts all across the Midwest, the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic. Starting to see those across the Southeast, portions around Birmingham, as well as the Atlanta metro under an air quality alert for Friday, as those dangerous air quality alerts could mean healthy or sensitive groups could have some breathing problems. Middle Georgia, we are quiet and calm, but again, that smoke that you've been able to see in the air will stick around. And for more on that, here's meteorologist Ryan Mirando on Coleman Hill.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, we are out here on Coleman Hill right now. Notice off in the distance, we got that milky haze over downtown Macon and the skyline beyond. This is due from some of that smoke that's coming down from Canada. Today is really the highest concentration of it. Notice here on the map, the darker kind of that orange and red, the higher concentration of that smoke. And over the mid-state, we do have some of those yellows, but most of us have been into the greens for the past few days. So today was the worst really of the air quality so far. We were into the unhealthy for certain sensitive groups. That's really for the very young, the elderly. If you have any respiratory issues and you were outdoors for multiple hours, you could notice some symptoms from the smoke that was outside. We are still beginning to come down very slightly, but today was really the highest concentration of some of that smoke and the hazy sunshine. The reason why we have all this smoke is due to what's called an omega block. These are known and notorious for really not moving a lot, and they look like the Greek letter omega. So you have low pressure over the northeast and you have high pressure over the northern plains. Now the winds are circulating around these two features and they literally act like a funnel, pushing in all the air from the wildfires in Canada and all that smoke right over the eastern half of the U.S. and right over top of us. And this has a few more days before this will break out and finally the smoke will be out of the way, but we're still going to have a little bit more hazy sunshine for a few more days. Ryan, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Ryan Miranda. Great explanation there. And again, if you're heading towards Atlanta tomorrow, do keep that in mind. They are under that air quality ozone alert. Again, for middle Georgia this evening, a few pop-up showers and storms, mainly across South Georgia. And that front is essentially near Macon right now. As it drops off towards the south, you may pick up a little bit more wind, but really not much in the way of showers and thunderstorms developing. Tomorrow, that front pushes south of the area, and then we'll get that different air mass settling in for a couple of days. Enjoy it, because by the time we head towards Sunday, a few showers and storms look possible by Sunday morning, and that'll continue into the afternoon. We'll keep an eye on those. Muggy meter, again, more comfortable the next couple of mornings, but then it gets pretty muggy next week, and with those muggy conditions, you bring back the chance for rain and storms. So tomorrow and Saturday, dry. Any outdoor plans will be A-OK, minus a little bit of that haze. And as we look at that 10-day forecast, we are talking about showers and storms returning as early as Sunday, sticking around much of next week with those hotter temperatures as well. Your Harrison's Body Shop fishing game forecast peaks near excellent at 6:40 a.m. and again at good at 7:40 p.m.
All right, thank you, Ryan. And here's a live view at New York where you can see just how bad the air quality there has gotten due to those Canadian wildfires. It's prompting health warnings for the millions of people in the path of the haze. Madeline Rivera reports from Washington.
The haze is not letting up. In some areas, the situation is getting worse.
This is the worst air quality we've had at least since the 1960s when we started monitoring.
Plumes of smoke from the wildfires raging in Canada are shrouding large swaths of the U.S. from the Midwest to the Carolinas, forcing officials to cancel more events and activities because of poor air quality.
It smells like barbecue.
I worry about the air, especially when it comes to our infants, young children who maybe their respiratory systems are not fully developed, the elderly, those with chronic lung disease.
In the Big Apple, Broadway shows and racing at the Belmont Park were canceled, with New York Governor Kathy Hochul announcing more measures to protect horses. New York City public schools are going remote, and some flights have been grounded.
Unfortunately, this smoke is impacting visibility in a big way, particularly in the airports in the New York area, LaGuardia, JFK, Newark, the airports in the D.C. area, Baltimore, Dulles, and DCA, and then also Philadelphia.
In the nation's capital, Major League Baseball, the Nationals versus Diamondbacks baseball game was postponed. The National Zoo in D.C. is also closed. President Biden is advising people to follow local warnings.
To keep up to date on the air quality in real time, go to the app that we provide. It's called airnow.gov and check on one another.
The smoke is even impacting the White House's itinerary. Their Pride event scheduled to be on the South Lawn Thursday night was rescheduled for this weekend. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, WGXA News.
Ongoing legal battles brought the end to one local Macon farmers market, but months later, another is taking its place.
Now locals can head to the Poplar Street Market to pick out farmer-grown produce and locally made goods from many of the same vendors that faced uncertainty after the Mulberry Market closed.
Our Gloria Ruth Finney spoke with members of the Poplar Street Co-op to learn how the new market could impact the community.
Rain or shine, every Wednesday as of today and from here on out, you'll be able to buy fresh produce and handmade goods at the Poplar Street Market. Managed by farmers with the Middle Georgia Growers Co-op, Julia Asherman says everything here comes to be by those selling it.
Eggs, meat, all the things that are being produced by the vendors.
Talks of past market legalities aren't on the menu today. After all, everything here is fresh. But that doesn't mean the vendors are new to their craft.
Well, I was into ceramics first.
Clifford Porter Jr. has been selling his functional pieces of art for about 8 years.
Then I said I wanted to go into woodwork.
Starting with wooden writing pens, he began making bowls out of pieces of wood using tools.
These are live edge. The bark is still on the wood.
Bundled bouquets, patchouli plants, and produce.
What's here dictated by the seasons.
Daria Dockery works for Rag and Frass Farm in Jeffersonville.
As things get hotter, as they get cooler, it'll change, but like that's the nature of the market and just like the beauty of it even.
Another beauty of this market is that in a city like Macon, where some neighborhoods are considered food deserts, shy of access to nutritional foods at fair prices, the Poplar Street Market not only accepts EBT, it matches the EBT dollar spent here on food like meats and bread, doubling that dollar amount to be used to buy fruits and vegetables.
And you're keeping that money in the local economy, and it's just an important part of food security as well.
The Poplar Street Market will be open every Wednesday from 3 to 6 p.m.
And now to sports. A highly anticipated tennis matchup is coming tomorrow morning in Paris. World number 1 Carlos Alcaraz will take on number 3 ranked Novak Djokovic in the men's semifinals at the French Open. Djokovic is working on his 23rd career Grand Slam title. He's considered one of the greatest of all-time players. 20-year-old Alcaraz is considered the next great thing in men's tennis. Now, you can catch this matchup live starting tomorrow morning on the Tennis Channel Network. Now, the coverage begins at 8 o'clock, but the actual match starts at 8:45 a.m. You can check your local listings for where you can find the Tennis Channel.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gary Thigpen, and I'm here again at the Animal Rescue Foundation in Milledgeville. I'm joined again today with Eileen, and guess who we have today?
So today we have Pugsley. He's almost 6 months old. He was born right before Thanksgiving. But obviously, we don't know what dad is. Maybe a Shepherd mix, maybe a Rhodesian. He is super sweet and loving. He's snuggly. And he's up to date, fully vetted, and microchip, ready to go home.
All right, you heard that. Microchip, fully vetted. Now, about what you said, about 6 months old?
About 6 months old.
All right, so if you want a puppy who is playful, full of energy, that's going to be with you a while, Pugsley's the one for you. How would they go about adopting Pugsley?
So to adopt Pugsley, what you're going to do is go to our website, animalrescuefoundation.org, and click on our How to Adopt tab and fill out the application, and we'll be in touch. We don't think that he is going to be a big dog. We think maybe about 50 pounds.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that today, guys. Let's find Pugsley a really good home. He needs that. Thank you so much, Eileen.
Thank you.
One of Starbucks' most controversial drinks could be coming to a city near you. The company's oil-infused coffee, known as Oleato, is now available in several cities and states from Alaska to Vermont. The drink was first introduced to Americans in March in 4 states, but it was met with negative reviews from customers. So some say it caused digestion problems for them. I know, that's crazy. For Starbucks, those interested in trying the oil-infused coffee can get it in an oat milk latte or a toffee nut ice shaken espresso. I actually like Starbucks, and I know you do too, because I've gotten you a coffee before.
Just walking in there makes me happy to smell the coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it grocery store, going down the coffee aisle, I have to. I'm like,
I don't feel like I smell it in the grocery
What
store.
makes you sad when you have to leave it?
Yeah, when I see how much money I spent in there for 2
Yes,
things,
that
I'm
makes
like,
me sad too.
What is this? I
don't know.
Like, return me my money.
That's right. Well, I say let the Oleato coffee stay, and if you don't like it, don't do it. If you do, then go for it.
Can be near a restroom, apparently. So
maybe, if that's what's causing it. Well, we hope you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we'd love to see you here every weekday afternoon.
We'll see you in just a few minutes on ABC 16.
enjoy your Thursday evening, Middle Georgia.